Crystal Light, Nadima Umar Uthman has joined me in studio. Nadima, good morning.
Hello, Joshua.
But I mean, I know you've been championing this cause for a while. I mean, you've been doing this all the time I've known you. You're very interested in things of this nature, but why Dadesɛn? Why are you doing this to us?
First of all, I'm not doing this to you. I mean, I use it, and I when we put the promo on our social media platforms, a lot of Ghanaians came at us asking, this is something that we all use. We've
Our
known this
favorite
for
wachi joints.
Absolutely.
Banku.
I have one in my kitchen. And so when the FDA came out with this report, that was the first thing that came to mind. And so the questions that our viewers are asking on social media or on our social media platforms are very legitimate, because for years we've known this, we all use them. And so why is the FDA now saying that there are high levels of lead in these cooking pots? And so for me, that is actually what piqued my interest, and I decided to go to, that is Agbebloshi in the report that we just saw, where the local cookware manufacturers, I wanted to see the stages or the production process before it gets to the market. And so lead exposure is not something that we hear all the time. Thanks to works, people, Pure Earth, for instance, the work they're doing, and then the FDA and the Ghana Standards Authority, we are gradually hearing about the impact of lead in our lives. And so this was to sort of educate the public, not just the public, but us as well, because it was an eye-opener. I didn't even know that they had to, these pots are produced from scraps.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I actually had no idea. And you see, the issue is in the production process. When they go and pick these scrap metals, they don't sort them out. Everything is melted together. Exactly. And so this is not to scare us from, a lot of people were saying that, oh, we're trying to move away and be more westernized. And so this is something that we've used for years. Why are we now discouraging people from using it? That is not the goal. That is just to educate us. We can't do the same thing over the years. New studies are coming up, and we need to educate our viewers.
Absolutely. And we'll come and talk more about that. But let me speak to one of our guests in studio, Blessing Enyonam Badago. She's project manager for Pure Earth. And you heard Nadima talk about Pure Earth and the work that they're also doing in the space. I know that there's a bit of some tracing projects you are undertaking, even in the Greater Accra and the northern regions. Talk to me about that.
All right. So this project is actually funded by OpenPhil, a donor organization in the US, now coefficient given. It's a study that is being introduced to, look at the regulatory analysis. That is to see the regulations in place that safeguard or, guide the process of manufacturing, distribution, and then the usage of this cookware, and then eyeliners as well. This project is being done in partnership with the Ghana Standards Authority and then the EPA. Now, another leg of the project is also to look at what happens in the value chain processes, like Nadima just did. Look at what materials are being used, where the lead is coming from, how it gets into the value chain, and what can be done about it. So the project has not been finalized yet, but findings so far, as we have it, is like it has revealed consistent absence of direct standards or regulations that guide the manufacturing process of this cookware. For instance, there are standards in place, generic ones that public health officials or inspectors, implement. But it's basically to see how tidy the environment is.
Not necessarily the materials they're using.
Not the materials. So one thing we found that is, like we mentioned, they use all sorts of scrap materials, and they are not tested. One argument ongoing right now is we've been using this for over years. What is new? One thing I particularly have seen or have found out is that one question I asked is, how many cars were in the system in years past? Over the years, we've had cars more cars as the years goes by. And one of the major source of this is car batteries, car engines. Once these are added to it, is able to, have high levels of lead in the resulting materials or products. We have other materials or other products that do not have lead. Unfortunately, you can't see the differences because lead looks pretty much, I sent a picture, lead looks pretty much like the Dadesɛn we see. Whether shiny, whether dark, no matter the color differences you see, you can't tell whether lead is in this or that.
That's where a lot of people have concerns.
Yeah.
I mean, per the report, Nadima stated that, I mean, it's in some cooking pots. And so how do I know that the Dadesɛn that I have in my house, which I enjoy using to drive my banku, and then I feel so proud when I'm done? How do I tell the difference between a lead contaminated Dadesɛn and then a pure Dadesɛn?
Yeah, so unfortunately, you can't tell by the looks of it, by the taste of your food, or either ways. For Pure Earth, what we've done, we have a portable XRF. That's a tool that is able to test for lead in cookwares, and then we've been able to do that segregation. But based on that segregation, you are not even able to tell with your eye or anything, except by testing. So you can do that by going to the lab or sending your cookware to the nearest lab for testing. So you can't really tell by looking at it.
I'll carry my Dadesɛn. Where are you going? I'm going to test my Dadesɛn.
I think that is the tricky aspect, because I saw the SRF that Pure Earth uses is not readily accessible, and so for the consumer, how do you go on the? That is why I feel that there needs to be standards. If anybody can just get up and then say they are producing these cooking pots, who is regulating it? To protect the consumer, there has to be standards. Yeah.
Right. You know what? Talking about standards, and then I'm worried somewhere, but let's get to Zoom now. Let's speak to the Food and Drugs Authority. Roderick Dadesɛn, who is Deputy Chief Executive Food Division of the FDA, has joined us. Roderick, thank you so much for joining us. And I mean, hearing these things, it's an eye-opener for quite a lot of us. But then I'm sure you also heard from the people we sampled on the street. They say, Charlie, for years. In fact, someone said his grandmother has never been to the hospital. She's been using this to cook all these while. So why are we making noise now?
We are happy to be part of this conversation this morning. And I think the challenge, is for people maybe to understand that you can't be suffering from problems like what we are seeing with lead. But because, let's say, it's not like electricity. If you were supposed to touch a live wire, what will happen to you? You get electrocuted, you die at once. Probably that is what people recognize as immediate danger. But if you listen to earlier talks that has been given, one of the problems with such a product like lead is that it bioaccumulates. As you take the product, it leaches from the cookingware into your food, and then you bioaccumulate it. When it gets into you, there are so many things that it can do. And like those who are saying that, well, their grandmother would use this for a long time, nothing happened to their grandmother, maybe they need to take a look backwards. Sometimes somebody may have a chronic disease. Chronic meaning it is something that is not, it just doesn't seem to go away. It's always there. It's an ailment, Low-level toxic metal exposures pose serious health risks, including neurocognitive disorders and cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular, things related with the heart, as well as the your cognitive, your memory will suffer a lot of these things. It may not be like an immediate death, but it sort of worsens. And I'm sure if you look through the ages till now, you would recognize some of the symptoms.
Right. And so, Roderick, what's the end game here? Is the FDA looking at saying a ban on the use of these pots, or we are looking for a pause until we are able to find safer ways of actually producing them?
You realize, from the statement that we put out, we are joining our collaborators, those who work with us, to say that Dadesɛn that has been made out of lead, get the message well, out of lead, Dadesɛn made out of lead is of concern, because there is ample evidence of work that has been done over the years. A work that was done, for example, here in Ghana, where about 14 pots were obtained from 7 different scrap metals, showed that you have lead leaching. Being in some of our foods, yes. Now, the ones that we took. What about the ones we didn't take?
Right.
Action plan that the FDA has taken now is to start an awareness, a sensitization, program for people, manufacturers to be aware, and also like those who fabricate. Because we watched the video that you said, where somebody was emphasizing that they don't have a problem with their Dadesɛn. What we are saying is that Dadesɛn that you have used lead, it's a suspect to it. And food safety is everybody's business.
Right.
Let's not say that, okay, I don't have Dadesɛn in my home. At least we become middle income earners, and at least many people, if not almost everybody, you eat one meal probably out of the home. Dadesɛn is what is used for big cookings.
Right.
It's used in people's homes. You boil water with it. A lot of the Tom Brown that is being manufactured and other food products, your jollof and so. Caterers are using these products. So you can imagine we are exposing ourselves if that particular Dadesɛn has been made out of including lead is doing.
Okay,
and
Roderick, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But let me come back to you, Blessing. So, so if I'm not sure about whether my Dadesɛn is lead free, let me put it on the side if I can't get it tested. But what alternatives are there, really?
The alternative is expensive. Actually, stainless steel is the best way to go. Based on tests and then studies so far, stainless steel has proved that.
I'm just imagining the kinky seller. You're telling her to use stainless steel. Come in about
Exactly. So that's why we are making sure that standards are in place.
Absolutely.
And then it trickles down to having manufacturers. We don't want to take their works away. That's one thing we do. That's why this pilot was very, very necessary. At the end of the day, we know it's possible. So it can be implemented. Lead-free Dadesɛn can be made.
Lead-free
so
Dadesɛn. And then lead-free Nadima. Already made. Nadima, thank you so much for this great work. Congratulations. I know the hard work you put in and how I also try to, But then the full report will during our broadcast, our news broadcast as well. So please stay tuned at 11:30 and also at 6:30 p.m. Thank you so much for coming, Blessing. Nadima as well. So